right, you know him, you love him, the Nick and Nora Charles of comics, Jimmy Palmiotti Amanda Conner.
Sword of Omens, come to my hand. I, Lion-O, command it. Thundercats, ho!
Thank you guys for not going to the Hallie Atwell panel. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, room for one more guest. If
Well, do you want to, Jimmy, I appreciate
we
you.
can invite Stan Lee's ghost. Right
Well, yeah, it's like Passover. You leave one seat open for the great prophet Elijah. I'm Greek, and I know that. Anyway, Jimmy, I'm going to start with you because the word is out. Frank
He
Castle.
was dead when I got there.
Who was that? All right, there you go. Frank Castle is back.
Yes.
And you and Dan Panosian are going to be doing this.
You said back, not black, right?
I said back.
Different book.
And everybody
Okay.
knows, and I want to know give me the process because they put Frank on the shelf. Jason Aaron had him in the dead zone or whatever, helping poor damn children and everything.
So here's the good news. I never read those comics. So
That's fine.
When they asked me to, no, I just never read them. It doesn't mean they're bad.
Hey, Jason had a great
Jason's
Max run.
He's a great writer,
Sure.
but Frank Castle is the Punisher to me, right? So when they asked me to come and do a Marvel Knights book with Dan Panosian is penciling it, inking it, and coloring it. So it's amazing.
It's pretty.
But I didn't, not for a second did I think it was not Frank Castle. Like, why would it be anybody else but Frank Castle? So that's the character I can write. I can't really write I'd have to read Jason's and everybody else's books. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're in comics, you don't have a ton of time to read other people's comics. Now, he's a great writer, so I'd probably read it at some point in a trade or something. But for this gig, it was sort of like, okay, we're doing The World to Come, which is basically like the idea of Frank Castle maybe like 10 years later than you see him in the books. He's a little older. It doesn't really change the story at all. Okay, he's more driven and crazier than ever. And when they gave the title to Dan and I, we discussed like, okay, what is Punisher to us? And they said, well, Punisher is a very angry Frank Castle wanting to, clean up New York with crime in his way, which is bullets and guns and knives and everything. And we were just like, we were both laughing because we were both like, well, this is the Punisher we like. He's just a madman. Like he's just going out and And in this book, in this series, this 4-issue series, what happens is Frank is going after a couple of cartels from Mexico, and at some point, something happens. I don't want to ruin anything, but something happens where he's actually in Mexico, and he's taking out the cartels from Mexico. And when we wrote it, so this was written a while back. Okay, because we worked on this for a while. This was something that they just said when they were going to launch the Marvel Knights, the Black Panther book.
Literally, when Bill and Joe took over and had their imprint of Marvel Knights. Was it that period?
Well, no, this is
early 2000s.
The new series, Black Panther series, out. You guys, I don't know if anybody read it, with Christopher Priest and Joe doing it, and So we wrote this around the same time.
Okay.
We didn't finish it till recently though. Like it was like no deadline. So we wrote what we call our ultimate Punisher story. Like he's just mean and it's cruel, it's violent. Dan Panosian is the perfect artist for this because his nickname is the Urban Barbarian.
Indeed.
So it's like the perfect teaming on this book. And I didn't keep track of everything that was going on in Punisher. So when he did the cover and we put it out there, everybody's like, oh, the Punisher's back. And I was like, where did he go?
So no pushback in terms of no parameters?
No.
No editing as far as toning it down a little bit?
We didn't get, I didn't get notes like that. I kind of wrote it, it's an unusually cruel series. It's mean-spirited.
Good.
It's dark. Frank does things that Frank can't forgive himself that he did. Like, that's how bad it gets.
Good.
But at the same time, I'm like, well, they may never hire me again, so let me just have some fun. And, because there was a gap, I didn't do much work for them. So I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll do the craziest book I can. Dan drew it like it's insane.
Excellent.
The book is so insane. He keeps sending a panel or two online, showing a panel or two online, and people get very excited about it. But it's just us doing, like, if we're two giant fans doing the comic, we want to see Frank Castle be, and So that's what that miniseries is.
Well, again, you create your own stuff, and we'll get into it.
Yeah.
You know, it does reflect an R-rated mentality because, again, we all grew up with.
My life is R-rated.
Well, and I respect that. Well,
you know, I don't think there's no children in this room, right? This is one of the few times. So you're a child.
Exactly.
You're a child inside, but that doesn't count.
Exactly. Not inner
And
child.
we'll keep the president away from you. But anyway, the thing is, like, this is a character that's a very mature character, right? So
yeah.
Why would I treat this any other way? I mean, and I expected the people that love Frank Castle. Look, we do these books for all ages, right? But realistically, I'm doing it for a little older audience that's seen this stuff a million times before. So if I'm going to spend some time on something, I'm going to try to do something that they haven't seen before with this character, and take it like a step further. I mean, I'm a lover of the Mike Zeck.
Of course.
Punisher. That's like one of my. I actually bought a piece of artwork at this show today of a Mike Zeck draw.
Because John's
Punisher.
here. John Beatty is inker, right? Did you buy from John
Although
or a dealer?
This piece I got
From a dealer?
Zeck pencil and inked it, but
Okay.
so I'm a fanboy.
Yeah.
And coming from that point of view, I'm trying to kind of make everybody that likes the Punisher happy on this one, and not worrying about the editors and not worrying about the company and stuff. You know, because I have to do. If I get hit by a Mack truck tomorrow, they're going to rate that as, oh, that's the last story he did, and boy, he was messed up, that guy. You know, so maybe the truck did us all a favor. But my thing is, you know, it has to be fun. It has to be over the top. It is the Punisher. It's not Spider-Man. I'm not gonna. He doesn't have issues with Mary Jane and all that kind of stuff. This is Punisher. He's angry. He's a very angry man running around.
Psychotic killer.
He sees the only cure. Like, he looks at the police and he looks at Daredevil and everybody else is like a bullet. He looks at them like a Band-Aid on a shotgun wound. Like, they're not really doing much. And his attitude is, I need to
Wipe
finish
them
the
out.
job.
Yeah, wipe them out.
So it's fun.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
Because we don't do that in real life, and we don't. That's not what we do.
Sure.
We wish it when we're driving. Someone cuts us off. We wish a missile come out of our hood and just take the guy out in front of us. And maybe it's only me. I'm looking at faces. They're like Jim. But it is a, you know, we're trying to make people happy here.
I respect that.
Yeah, I'm rambling.
Amanda, I got to ask, obviously, this R-rated life that apparently you're sharing with Jeff seemed to be a surprise to you. But no, honestly, you guys are truly, I love the way you guys not only talk with me when you do.
Okay, she's worse than I am.
Well, I was going to say, but no, you know, forgive me, Amanda, because I don't know you. I talked to Jim more than I talked to you, but I get that vibe that it's like, you get it. Obviously, you get him.
Yes.
And married him, so clearly you're cool with all this. But so really, I don't know, because again, I remember you started with Barbie way back in the day and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, you know, like
what opportunities to?
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, like, you know, you took the work you could get, and
Sure.
Barbie was work that I could get. You know, they weren't ready to hire me on superheroes as much as they were on Barbie. So yeah, I took the Barbie work.
But I also know, and you and I have talked about it before. I always point out your before Watchmen that you plotted and wrote.
Yeah.
And
with Darwin.
With Darwin, exactly.
Yeah.
And everything. And that obviously was not afraid of being, I mean, it wasn't, you know, blatantly R or whatever.
Right.
But it was an adult comic and it was
Well,
adult
I
themes.
mean, the original Watchmen was an adult comic, so, you know, there was no reason to, like, you know, it's sort of like G-rated up.
I have a question. Was
I was
she
gonna ask
Barbie
about
when
the
she
pro.
was younger?
Hilarious.
And then she lost all her work and everything, and she became the pro.
She became the pro.
Is that
That's
the same
fantastic.
character? Because I'm wondering. That's a
good question.
great story arc if you really think about it.
I was going to get to the pro, but absolutely.
She got pregnant. She had that baby, that like loud screaming baby, and you know, actually,
No choice.
The story behind the pro, the story behind Power Girl was
Indeed.
Steve Wacker, the editor, was like trying to get me to say yes to doing the JSA Classified series.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I don't know if it's for me or not. You know, I think, you know, Power Girl is a cool character and everything, but I don't know if she's like the character for me. And Steve goes, okay, think of her as the pro's more well-adjusted sister. And I'm like, I'll do it. You know?
Excellent. Excellent.
And now it turns out that Power Girl is like my favorite DC character. I love her so much.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
again, what you guys did with Harley as well, but let's stick
Well,
with
that's
Power
why
Girl for a second.
we keep jamming her into Harley Quinn.
Absolutely.
Because we love her and
Not physically.
well, I mean, if you guys have read
We're adults. Don't worry about it, Jimmy.
if
It's
you
all right.
guys have read any of the Harley comics, we're always inserting Power Girl into the Harley. It's like, oh, we want to work on more Power Girl. Oh, let's put her in Harley. Okay, and then I just tell everybody, I tell them it's the world's finest you never knew you needed.
Atta girl, that's excellent. There you go. I love Jimmy. Were you the one who wrote when in Power Girl, Jimmy Olsen is interviewing Power Girl, and you're getting Power Girl's inner monologue, and she's like, "Oh, he respects me," and there go his eyes down to my chest.
That was Jeff Johns. That was Jeff Johns. Yeah.
Oh, that was Jeff. Excuse me.
No, it's okay.
It was what is it called?
So JSA Classified was the 4-issue miniseries that I did that Jeff Johns was writing. And then, like a year or so afterwards, they tapped Jimmy and Justin to write Power.
They weren't thinking of Amanda for it.
No,
they offered us a Power Girl series.
Who was going to be the artist?
And was it Aaron Lopresti or
I
think it was one of the guys.
It was 2009.
We had another artist lined up, and then Vertigo grabbed them on it, and then we had another artist, and we kept getting frustrated that we couldn't get an artist. And Amanda was listening to my frustration.
And he's on the phone like,
That's exactly what I said.
Like Dino in the Flintstones.
And I just went downstairs and I was like, I'll draw it.
Right, you said I'll draw 6 issues.
I'll draw 6 issues.
And then
you were like, what? Okay. And then you called Dan and
Dan DiDio was like, okay. And then by issue 4, you were like, I'll keep doing it.
I'll keep doing this. I'm having so much fun on this.
But only till 12 because you had you were done.
Yeah.
You were like, okay.
Well, I'm not the fastest artist, so it's hard for me to keep up with a deadline.
I get it.
So
we did pitch for years. DC to come back to Power Girl, but they have no interest in us doing it. They have no.
We have such a good Power Girl plot lined up.
Well, we were going to call it 13, Power Girl 13, because we stopped at 12.
Issue.
But now we have a better name for it. So they said no to it. It's like this whole thing. They said no to it. But now I'm going to reapproach DC, and I'm going to tell them we're going to add Harley Quinn into it, and we're going to call it World's Okayest.
Hilarious. See, that's smart. Yes.
I think if you just when you go in there and just say, oh, so you don't want a woman, you just got to make a fuss.
Oh yeah,
you got to Me Too them. It's the only way we're gonna get this gig is you Me Too them a little bit. Maybe you could do that.
That's fantastic. And also, by the way, because we can absolutely talk about Harley as well. But I love that you guys put Vartox in Power Girl.
Yeah.
And you guys remember Vartox from the 70s?
We made him like the Casanova of space.
He was more Burt Reynolds than he was.
He had a see-through robe.
When we were doing Power Girl, we kept trying to get villains, and everybody was claiming the villains. They wouldn't let us touch any of the A-list villains, the B-list villains, the C-list villains. So we had to dig way back into the 70s. And Justin was really good. He would I don't know. He pull these villains out of his ass and just.
Yeah, what was that? It was Zardoz.
Has anybody here seen Zardoz?
Zardoz, yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah,
right, I recommend the movie if you don't want to take drugs. You just watch the movie and you feel like you took drugs. But it's the craziest Sean Connery.
You just watched it again last week.
I did. I watched it again because it's great.
Well, he's like this futuristic barbarian in a red diaper.
It's Sean Connery.
Yes.
Yeah. Running around, and it's very R-rated, and it's very insane. And it's a giant floating head that spits guns out of its mouth. I swear to God.
It's true.
It's the wildest
So
movie.
this is what Sean Connery did to get to shake his James Bond.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be typecast as James Bond. I'm like, well, that worked. That's definitely not James Bond.
Now, you mentioned, of course, Harley Quinn, and I always tell you guys that I see the Will Elder, Little Annie Fanny influence, and so you cop to that, obviously.
Yes, absolutely. I loved those strips when I was a kid.
In Playboy, if you don't know.
They ran in the back of Playboy. According to Hugh Hefner, he wanted it to be every month, 8 pages every month, and Kurtzman and Elder were like, we can't do it. So it became every other month, and then it became 4 times a year, and then 2 times a year. But they kept with it from 66 to 74 or 75. Yeah.
And then he kept reprinting it for years.
And they kept reprinting it. And it was basically the sense of humor that we have. It's ridiculous, and it's over the top. It's adult in nature, but it's also really sweet at the same time. And it's Kurtzman and Elder, which you just can't do any better than.
Sure.
It's my list of things I wanted always was a story by them, and last year I actually got
You
I
were
bid
able
on a story.
Oh,
and
wow.
won. Yeah.
Wow.
and he won it.
And I won
Wow.
it, which I didn't think I would. I thought somebody was going to outbid me.
Sure.
You know, when you do the auctions and you're like, that's the most I'm paying. And then there's always some a-hole that bids like $1 more. And you're like, oh my God. I got lucky this time and like I got it.
That's
But
excellent.
the tone was like something we loved. And the problem is, and Dan DiDio, another Dan DiDio quote is like, he said, most people can't write comedy. It's the toughest thing in comics. And at one point, he wanted us to come in, fly out to California, and have the writers in the
And
room and
teach
to teach
comedy.
them comedy.
Yeah, chalk talk.
And,
Sure.
and I told him, we can't because your guys aren't funny. And I said, they're just not funny. They're so serious and they're so. I said, comedy is like a perspective, like it's a life thing, the way you look at the world.
Yes.
Comedy is like, it's tough, right? Because I can write the darkest comics ever. I can write Batman. I can do all those in my sleep. But comedy is tough because
Yeah,
if
think
it doesn't
about it.
work, the whole book dies. We know that with movies. We see great stars and then we watch the movie and it's like not funny. And then you go watch Trading Places and every minute of it is hysterical. And why is this thing great? Every time I watch it, it gets funnier. And that's really in great humor as opposed to just something that's funny quickly.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't see comedies in the theater too much, is because it's almost
Well,
impossible to do.
True, but you also don't see a lot of comedies in the theater because, or certainly R-rated comedies.
Yeah.
Well, and also the whole movie business
Well,
is either spectacle or horror or nothing.
But everything
As
became
far as theaters.
because it's so safe. Comedy is so safe
Yeah.
now.
Exactly.
It's only fart jokes and like stuff like that. They don't really.
yeah.
You can't make Animal House now. People would be so
Yeah.
upset, but it's still funny. You
Yep.
watch it now and it's hysterical.
I don't
still.
know. I think there's like something wrong that like people will willingly go and like applaud movies where the entire universe is blowing up, or this horrible stuff is happening, or like horror movies, there's like blood and guts everywhere, but you see a comedy movie and there's something slightly offensive in it and everybody loses their minds. And I'm like,
The power of a nipple. A woman's
Yeah.
nipple comes
Oh my
out.
God.
All of a sudden, people are diving to cover their kids' heads. I'm like, what happened to going to museum? What do they do at museums?
No shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well,
I don't
you remember
understand.
that idiot that worked for Bush that wanted to cover the Statue of Justice
oh my God, that's
because
right.
of his breast.
Yeah.
Tom, I forget his
Oh,
name.
here's a horrible
Home-
thing
home
that
security
we
guy.
heard, and this is like really, really sad. There's we went to a state. I'm not going to say which state it is, but we went to visit our friends in a state, and they were, taking us on a tour around the state capitol. And they have these absolutely gorgeous statues that people like they created, like I think like late 1800s or to the early 1900s, and the religious people have said, well, you're going to have to like smooth down the nipples.
Smooth down.
They,
the
they
down
want
the
to.
nipples.
They want to grind down the
Like
nipples
Barbie.
on the Greek gods and
Yeah.
everything. Like all of them, male, female.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
So
who's going to
this
take
is-
Can you
that job?
imagine?
Number one, I mean,
Yeah.
But how like weird. Like
I'm
and
hip, I
then
know.
what happens 10 years later? Like, hey, let's put the nipples back.
Well, maybe honestly, I'm not really watching the box office because I was busy with this show. But Naked Gun is a great like attempt at maybe coming back to raunch.
Has anybody seen it? Anybody seen it?
Is it
And
good?
Oh, how is it?
It's really good.
Did it
Excellent.
take a little risks a little bit? Is there more than one OJ joke?
Only one.
There's
All
only one in the trailer. The one they showed in the trailer with.
All right.
Okay.
But no, I liked when he sees the silhouette when he thinks it's Pamela Anderson, and then it's just a broom and a vacuum cleaner, and then you cut to Pamela Anderson. So, yeah, sorry, guys. Well, it's in the it's in the commercials. You'll forgive me. Confusion.
No, she's not
I'm
going to say.
not
She's not
saying
going
State
to.
of confusion.
The state of confusion.
New Hampshire. No, it's.
Are
Don't get
It
me
was not
started.
Florida.
No, it was not.
Are you
It
down
was,
there?
It
Yeah.
was not. Yeah, it was not California. It was not. It
Oh.
is. It is east
had no
of the
coast.
Mississippi.
There you go.
All right.
Well,
Well,
it's not important.
yeah, I'm sure it is in Chicago, in Illinois. Well, Chicago I know is safe because I'm from Chicago. Sanding down the nipples. That's insane.
Save the
Yeah,
nipple
grinding.
campaign starting soon.
I respect that.
But it's just ridiculous, right?
So-
It's just ridiculous.
Well, and I'm going to get to, and well, how involved are you currently with a lot of these creator-owned things that, PaperFilms is?
Jimmy's like, I need you to do this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm Jimmy's performing monkey.
I understand.
We have a book we're dying to do that she has to get out from under a lot of work right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going
Yeah.
to ask about a
And
lot.
she's a very
whatever.
popular cover artist.
I'm hip.
So, it's hard to say no.
Are you done other than maybe for stuff with Jimmy? But as far as the DC and Marvel, any?
Oh no, I'm far
saying
from done.
interiors, but I'm saying interiors.
Oh
rather
no, I'm an idiot. I took on some interior work.
Is it in the public ether, or are you're not
Not
able
yet.
to talk about
No,
it?
not
All right,
yet.
all right.
Yeah, not yet. So,
All right.
but yeah, I need to actually like concentrate on our stuff. And,
Sure.
You know, but it's like people like come to you with like DC and Marvel stuff, and you're like, ooh, I'd like to work on those characters.
Yeah, well, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Do they give you insurance when you're doing stuff? Like, are you exclusive right now?
Oh
or anything?
no, I'm not
Okay.
exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But regardless, obviously the work.
There was a time you'd want to be exclusive, so you get medical coverage.
Yeah.
But we're dealing with Disney and Warner Brothers, whoever, Discovery, I guess, or whatever. They don't give us that anymore.
Okay. All right.
So when you sign exclusive, it just means you work for them more.
Okay.
And they guarantee you a certain amount of work. But when you become a freelancer, you don't want to do that in a way, because then you're limiting what you can do. And the only way, so like COVID reset all the page rates. So we were all getting paid decently. And then COVID became the excuse of corporations. Like, well, we can't pay you that anymore.
Insane.
And I'm like, because? And they're like, well, COVID. I'm just like, well, what?
Yeah, what does that mean?
And
what the hell's that mean?
so now the companies whittle you down. And I know one gig I have, like my page rate is the same page rate I had in '99.
Jesus.
Okay, and it sucks.
Wow.
And,
Yeah.
and by the way, it's for a corporation. It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they should be embarrassed.
Sure.
But they don't have shame.
They have no shame.
Of course not.
But what happens with that is they lose our loyalty. We're not loyal to any company, any big company anymore, because honestly, at that point, if they're not taking care of us, why should we worry about them?
Jim, honestly, you guys are the early success stories when it comes to crowdfunding and Kickstarter, and you guys have it down to a science. And I'm so impressed. And truly,
It's an exhausting
that's
science.
Jim.
Exhausting
Yeah,
science.
but Jim, honestly, and I know you've said, hey, like you've made best friends with your post office.
Yes.
And when you've got several hundred books that you are shipping out to your patrons and stuff, you buy them lunch. I mean, seriously,
when we first started, we dealt with the loyal. Now we do everything out of the Emerald City Comics and.
Oh, okay.
But when I first started, we were in Safety Harbor.
Shout out to Emerald City.
Emerald City, there you go.
Very
Emerald City
nice.
in the house.
The post person isn't happy when he has all this.
No, I help them carry the packages out to when I'm there. But when I first started, I was bringing so many packages to our post office. I bought them all lunch across. I said, "Go across the street. Lunch is on me today," and they, that helps, right? Because they're just regular people trying to. But again, at the same time, I was like, well, I'm also helping the post office here by giving you thousands of packages every day, and
showing that the need for a post office.
Yeah,
In this area, in this time of, do we really need it? We've got FedEx. We got all these things.
I like the post office.
Oh my
What
God.
more reason to get out of the house?
Well, but we're
I mean,
cutting every
you know.
program. We don't like the post office. Nobody and it's like
like
the post office is the only
the
way
post
that
office.
people who literally live at the bottom of the Grand Canyon get their
I
medication.
like the post. The post office general. That's another story, right? The
I-
guy in charge of it. Not so good.
Yes.
But I like my postman is awesome.
There you go.
He's great.
We do.
you know.
We have his name is Jim, and
His
we
name's
love
Jim.
him.
Remember, I forgot his name for a while. It was pretty funny. And he says Jimmy. I'm
Ironically.
like, oh, okay, yeah, I know that.
Well, not to burden Jimmy with more, things that aren't the things he's working on, but I know a ton of creators when they have done Kickstarters, they go to Jimmy because Jimmy kind of cracked the code back when it was still like, how does this work? What is it? What do you have to do? And Jim, I know that
It's
people
a
do
simple rule is make all the people that back your Kickstarter happy, get the books in on time, ship it to them well. If they have a problem, answer your email. And when they write you an email, answer them right away and get them another package if they
Sure.
need. And every customer, like I keep asking Kickstarter to give us like a rating. Can we have a rating? Because I want my customers to be able to rate us so we can also show how shitty the other people are doing it. Because I know my rating would be like either 99 or 100%.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be one angry person. Even if you get them everything, they're still angry. They started out angry, so I can't really change that. But we even had a guy in New Zealand who kept losing the packages, and I just sent him the money eventually. I said, look, I send it registered mail, I send it regular mail, and now I'm sending you cash. So through PayPal or something. And I said, I'm so sorry, but if I come down to Australia, I'll get your book,
Sure.
But stuff happens, but I've done, I think it's 26 of them so far. and I've never shipped late. And I've always shipped on time, always give what I promise. And again, any issue between me and Patrick, who works with me, we answer our emails. We treat our customers like family. And that's what I learned also, how people keep coming back, is, you know, they feel like they've been treated well.
Do you have questions for Jimmy and Amanda? If you do, please come up to the microphone. If you don't
Or you
mind.
could just say it. We're
no, but honestly, for the podcast that I'm recording, if you don't mind using the mic,
being
man,
recorded, everyone.
Amanda, I love your work. I was wondering, outside of your comic work, do you ever do in your personal time any kind of life drawing, or are you so drawn out from the professional work that you don't even want to look at a pencil afterwards?
Usually I'm like I have other things that I want to do, you know, like just like fun stuff around the house. But a few years back, Jimmy bought my mom and I some life drawing classes.
Oh, wow.
And some painting classes. And we had
Some work,
really good time. Well, actually, it was a painting class, but there was one point where the teacher just said, okay, we're going to bring in a model. We're going to do some life drawing.
What did they serve at this painting class?
I love questions like this. Please.
What did they serve? No, that was just the last day.
Oh, that was
It wasn't one of those like wine painting classes.
I thought it was
No, it was an actual real painting class. It wasn't just like
real.
Yeah, just lick her up before you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, that the last day we did have wine and stuff, but no, it was when she brought in the life drawing model, I was like, oh my god, I forgot how much fun this is, you know, and of course my mom blew everybody out of the water because she's so good. So,
Oh, wow. Who knew? That's wonderful.
She's an illustrator, and
So obviously
she's
you're learning
great.
at her knee
Yeah,
back in the day
yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
Cool. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, right,
I had no idea. That's wonderful. Really, that's
Yeah.
that's like Alex Ross
Yeah.
and his mom being a great commercial artist and
Oh,
stuff.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's in the
that
it's in the
explains so
documentary. You're
much.
both in. Have you
Ah.
got? Oh, guys, you got it. I'm in it too. We're all three of us are in the
Oh,
documentary.
okay.
It's fantastic.
Very cool.
You guys, honestly, you guys were great. And not only that, you're also in the promo for the Blu-ray that runs on word balloons. So I hear you guys every day talking about how amazing Alex Ross is. It's the truth.
That's
I love
great.
it. Please, sir.
That's great. Yes.
I think your runs on Harley and Power Girl are like what everybody else is compared to, right?
Indeed.
Like I read Harley and I was like, it's not their Harley, and I read Power Girl and it's not their Power Girl, and so you guys are always up there. But I have a question. Starfire seemed to like run under the radar in comparison to those two. Could you
Yeah.
talk about like how you came up with that take on her and what you think about it? That was during DCU, I think, right?
That was she was like a fun character who I always liked. You know, like I used to read the Teen Titans. You know, the old George Perez.
I
run.
didn't.
You didn't?
No,
Oh, I didn't.
I didn't read it. Yeah, well, I mean, but when they offered us the character, I knew her from the cartoon, from the Teen Titans Go.
See, I also
And,
watched Teen Titans Go, which I love.
Yeah, and we just giggled through the whole cartoon. But when they offered it to us, Dan said, would you guys like to do a year of Starfire?
Yeah.
And I said, I need to look, because I know her from the cartoon, you knew her from the comic, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and he goes, can you make it so if people never read it, like they can get who she is? And I'm like,
Sure.
okay. And then, you know, I read into it what I read, which she's a bit of a hedonistic character.
Well, she comes from a planet where nobody they don't have hang-ups.
Right.
Right?
Well, that's why she and
So-
Robin hooked up back.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson back in the day.
Right. They don't
You know,
have like
Everybody
you know,
loves Dick, so.
Literally.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So he said literally. I did not say literally. I don't know if you noticed that. He fell right. He went right into that. You fell right into
No,
that.
that was my plan.
But in order for us to do that, and it was funny because we did it with Harley in a way, we needed to take her out of her normal place, and we thought, well, what would be more cool for a hedonistic person to live
also
in Key West?
somebody who
You
who
know?
Key
loves
West.
the sun. You know, Key West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we set the book in Key West.
Yeah.
We wrote it as if you never read the character,
Starfire,
you would
yeah.
get to know her. And then we slowly started working in
And
our
she's also,
the characters.
you know, she's also completely like naive, but not naive in a dumb way. Like naive, like I've just never done this before. You know, it's like, oh, Earth customs. What do we do here? And she knows none of them, so she's like learning on the fly. So that's sort of how we approached it.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
Amanda
yeah.
redesigned the costume. Did
Yes.
it. So we pissed off like half of the Starfire audience
Yeah.
but they would buy it and then
So that
complain.
they
which,
could be pissed
which,
off, you know.
Yeah,
because
they'd be pissed off, but they would buy it, so we're happy. And then we had new people buy it, and
they could be pissed off with authority.
then they got pissed off at us when we left after issue 12 because they wanted it to keep going on, and we were like, well, you know, we signed up for 12. That's all we can do. because of timing. But it was a lot of fun for us, and we got to. Dan DiDio used to call it the Jamanda universe. We put in our characters in that book.
Was Cyborg in?
Cyborg wasn't in. Like
One of my
Cyborgman
favorites
is
of-
a Harley character.
I'm hip. I understand.
That they put in the cartoon and completely changed.
Yeah.
To where I'm not happy about
I'm
it.
sorry, man.
Yeah, and then he's not in the cartoon anymore because all of a sudden these people
They
were
got in
complaining
trouble.
about it. And I'm
There
just
was
like,
trouble.
if you just stuck to the character we wrote, you'd have no problem.
Was Jason Alexander Cyborg? In
Yeah,
the
he
cartoon?
was.
I thought
Yeah,
so.
But they
Yeah,
made
yeah.
him like a Jewish landlord. And
Yes.
I'm like, what the hell is this? It's
Yeah.
not the character we
Well,
wrote.
No, it's not.
They did it. I mean, granted, the cartoon.
I like the
animated
cartoon.
series, it's fun and it's politically incorrect. But
Absolutely.
They like got politically incorrect with like,
Other
the
things.
the wrong. It
Yes.
was just it got bad.
I'm hip.
Yeah, and then I had the Israeli newspaper approach me about the character, and I said,
So
I wrote the comic character, so
they're
you guys go read the
boycotting
comic.
you, and we're like, what?
Yeah, I said you read the comic, but your questions should be aimed at the animation guys. And I said, but read my comic, and
did
if
you
you have
guys-
a problem, talk
Did you
to me.
ever sit down with Pat Schumacher, the original showrunner?
Well, I mean, I do like those guys.
Yeah.
Pat's a great guy.
They're
Right.
amazing guys.
But they didn't consider us for the cause.
And I'm sorry about
we did
that,
a few, they credited Jimmy for Cyborgman.
Sure.
And they got me to do some turnarounds for the animation, a few turnarounds for the animation and a couple of scenes, which was fun. But then we didn't do much after that. So
Yeah, we asked to be involved, and they were like, no, we got this. And I'm like, okay. And that's probably why the cartoon went right back to Gotham. And it became the Batman
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
side characters comic show with Harley and Ivy. And they took that, they did their own thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Obviously,
Of
it's 4
course.
seasons in. It's not doing too bad.
yeah.
Well,
everybody
just
loves
like you're
it.
doing, you guys
Yeah,
did your
yeah.
own thing as opposed to
good.
Paul
Right.
Dini.
It's
Right.
fun.
So
Yeah.
yeah. No, but
Anyway,
it's too shit.
young man, you have a
Drew.
question?
Yes. I have a question for Amanda. You did art for an episode of The Big Bang Theory. I think it's The Imagination Perspiration, where Stuart is wondering how we can get more women in the shop.
Yes.
And Amy was like, well, maybe if you don't have that, I think it was like woman
was-
on a collar.
She said, maybe if you didn't have a picture of a woman on a leash like a dog.
Yeah.
So,
gotta
and
look
yeah,
up
and
that
I did
episode.
and the poster was behind them, and it was a woman on a leash, like an S&M guy with like this like.
originally ask for?
What did they originally ask for?
They asked for was it Harley and the Joker? Yes. Yeah, in DC.
in a
kibosh on
compromising
that.
position.
Harley on
I know. Oh, that literally
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they asked for that,
no way.
and DC said nah.
So then the Big
And
Bang
so
Guy
he
said
just
yes.
did like a generic,
Sure.
just a, but that's not the only piece of art I did for the Big Bang Theory. I did the book that was the Frightened Little Astronaut book. At the end,
Howard in space.
Yes, Howard in
Wallow
space. I did that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's oh my god! I gotta look this stuff
So I
up. That's
did-
great.
Yeah, it's like on one of the last seasons, right?
Yeah, it is
Sure.
the last season, I think. And
Oh my
All
God.
the drawings for it, they
Yeah.
animated it.
Oh,
by the
that's
way,
good.
last night, when I couldn't. By the way, I'm really tired right now, so I'm a little goofy,
You're
and that's
doing
why I
great.
keep yawning, and I apologize, because I couldn't sleep last night, and I ended up seeing a Big Bang Theory that I had never seen before. I thought I had seen them all, so that was kind of fun.
That's
So-
hilarious. Has anyone ever approached you about, like, I know David Mack will do conceptual art for TV and stuff. Have you been approached to do anything
I've
like
done conceptual art
that? Or
for
movies?
Nightline, you did stuff for?
yeah,
Ted Koppel Nightline or ABC Nightline?
This was like
Right?
the early 2000s. I'm gonna say
Let's
like
talk
2002
about
or
aliens.
something like that.
I'm
Or-
Ted
It was
Koppel.
about aliens, I think. You've done a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, some weird stuff. I've done like odd stuff here and there, some magazine.
Lucasfilm stuff for.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Nike you did a campaign. for
Yeah, I did a
Nike.
campaign for
Yeah.
Nike. I know I'm forgetting some stuff.
on his wall.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know where that art
Probably
is.
not. But we have a videotape, a VHS of it, so who can play that anymore?
I kept.
Of course you can.
Well, I saved my VCR because I have a lot of highlights of my TV stuff that are still on
Yeah,
VCR.
yeah,
So
we-
you could buy a
yeah.
you could buy a thing that will hook up to your to convert it. Yeah. So,
But can you
not
buy
too
a
expensive.
VCR?
It's rare. Well, and now DVDs, DVD players are becoming rarer because physical media is they're trying to get rid of it.
PlayStation 4 can still play all that stuff.
There you
right?
go.
Like that. That's. PlayStation is like the last DVD player.
But aren't they eventually? Aren't they going to make you buy stuff from the cloud eventually? Like
I still buy the discs. I'm like,
thank God.
I'm too old school for that. You know,
I'm hip.
I buy them used on eBay. Like people sell like 40 games on discs, and
Sure.
I'm just like $30. I'm like, yeah, I'll play that game.
I miss the bootleg video guys that used to be at conventions.
Oh, in the street. Remember? Well, New York,
of
they
course.
used to have guys.
Yeah.
Like literally, the movie was out that day.
Well, yeah,
And
camcorder guy.
And he was a camcorder guy with the back
They
of somebody's
they
head.
throw a blanket on the street and they like put out all these little.
Seinfeld, that Brody guy.
Or you get home and it's not that movie. That's the other one. That was a big Manhattan one. Like it's like that's not that movie. That's not
logic.
Star Wars. Okay,
That's
that
okay.
is not a Wookiee.
I love the Asylum movies that are the knockoff movies.
Yeah.
The knockoff Transformer movies and the like, you know.
Yeah.
There used to be a lot more petty crime out there. You know? now we get ripped off to our faces, right? At the airport, you buy something, it's like $3 more. Like they rip you off to your face.
If only it was
right now.
$3
Well, yeah. I mean,
No,
right now
you're
we
right.
go places to eat, and it's like such a rip off.
100%.
You know.
My God, San Diego. And you guys were there, right?
San Diego, they triple the prices of
hot dogs are $20. Like a hot dog
$20
is
hot
$20.
dog. I
was
expect a foot massage with that.
incensed. I was so mad. This was actually
Or
last
at least
year.
the first 6 inches.
This
What?
was
Go ahead.
this was last San Diego. This was
Okay.
because I didn't even go in that direction. But our hotel had a slice of pizza and a soda for $17.
This is what I'm saying.
And I was just like, you greedy. You know, I was so mad.
swear.
And
I'm
not
like,
the famous
so-
pizza from here.
Right.
Okay, just
Pepe's.
getting that out of the way.
No, but I'm thinking, I'm thinking of like all of the kids, like all of the kids and the young adults who save up their money all year long just to do this convention, and they sleep like 4 to 6 to a room.
Absolutely.
And they're just like, they spend all of their money on their costumes and like trying to get, paying for the passes to go to the convention, and then you rip them off further, but
Yeah.
with food, and I'm just like,
Chick-fil-A biscuit.
pisses me
I
off.
got one of those breakfast. It was like $12.
Yeah. It's
Why is it more in here? Like I don't understand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the Starbucks in the hotel was like, it's a what now? $10
for a regular
It
coffee?
was so much money,
Yeah.
and I ended up
Yeah.
getting Starbucks at the convention center because $2 cheaper
It's
in the
ridiculous.
convention
Absolutely.
center than it was.
My metaphor is like it's like if it's an Archie comic and Moose is holding Jughead by his ankles and shaking the coins out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
every that's that's San Diego
Yeah.
these days. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I love these directions that we're going in this conversation about. Jim, is there?
This is never a panel
So-
about comics, by the way.
Yeah, and that, well,
Just so
Jimmy,
I
that's why
I don't know if you've ever been at any of our panels. It just goes to random places.
I'm surprised you asked me to, or they asked me to MC, because usually you're fine on your own, man.
No. We like it.
Yeah.
Well, and
It's good
guys,
to have-
I love talking to you.
Start complaining about the pizza here and all that kind of stuff.
So Jimmy, so we've never flown into New Haven Airport before, and I was like, it's kind of cool. It's like
As opposed to Hartford, I guess.
the little the little ramp is outdoors. It's not like the like the little like
Sure.
hallway.
Oh, so you actually deplane outside?
So we deplane outside.
It's like the 50s. That's
And-
fantastic.
yeah. So when we were walking towards the building, there's a giant sign on the side of the building that says, New Haven, pizza capital of the United States. And Jimmy was like, what the fuck?
But God
I
bless you,
couldn't
Jim.
help it. I yelled it. And like half of the people there were looking and laughing. The other half were like, yeah, New Haven pizza. And I'm just like, pizza capital. I'm like, I've never ordered a New Haven slice.
Or
Or
a
I've never said
Connecticut
Connecticut slice. Okay?
Connecticut
I've done Chicago style. I've done New York.
I know.
But New Haven, and I'm just like, this is a joke, right? Like, is Frank Thierry here? Did he hang out below that, like, just to get me pissed off? And then I had to read about it, and I read
Yeah.
about it, and I'm like, okay, they put shrimp on, I guess, one of the slices, right?
Sure.
And
Sure.
there's some other pizza. But the capital of the United States.
Jim, you don't have to convince me. And also the misnomer for Chicago is they only think of deep
It's
dish.
what's that? It's more expensive than New York.
It's transplanted New York pizza.
Oh, is it?
That's fair, I suppose. Yeah.
So traders is what you're saying.
Somebody-
Okay.
Earlier today, somebody told me that the two governors, I guess, like New York governor and the Connecticut governor have like a friendly competition going on, and that's why they put just to like dig each other. So
Listen,
yeah.
I get that nonsense with Chicago and St. Louis, because St. Louis is like, well, we invented thin crust pizza, and I'm like, they're like, we invented it in 1964. My dad had a pizzeria in Chicago in 1950, and he wasn't the first. I'm like, shut up, St. Louis. And again, we love our deep dish, but really our street pizza is thin. It's certainly not New York, and I love New York
Look,
pizza.
I
Don't get me wrong.
think the airport didn't think a guy from Brooklyn would be getting
him.
off the plane
Exactly.
and walking down the
Probably
street.
thought you'd be taking the ferry
Right,
over.
they thought I'd be taking a car or drive my
train.
car. They never saw a Brooklyn guy getting off the plane. I felt like a moron, by the way, when I yelled it, because I didn't realize how much I yelled it out loud.
I love it.
And then I started laughing. I'm like going, these poor people. They're like, maybe that's their whole identity is this
That's-
pizza.
that's
like I was like,
fantastic.
oh, maybe I'm being very insensitive about this right now. You know.
Absolutely. Are there recent interiors or covers that I mean, I always do see that you're doing a variant of something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, but also, and Jim, like recent PaperFilm stuff that is available on the website. That
I did recently. I can't tell you what it is yet. but
Okay.
There you go. That's great.
There
no,
are,
I respect that.
There are hot dogs on the cover. Many
Oh
hot
my.
dogs, yeah.
Oh my. And is that for one of the companies or is that Jimmy?
It's for
One of the companies.
it's for
Okay.
two of the companies.
There you go. Oh my. Well, yes.
But there's enough hot dogs for everyone.
There are crossovers coming, so yes, indeed.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. That's
I
fine.
get in trouble, not you. I don't care. Fire me.
Yeah, they can hire you, not more.
Yeah. Let's hire him not again.
But Jim,
I'm writing Deadly Tales of Gunslinger every month.
of course,
Right.
Spawn,
So,
right?
Yeah. So I do that every month. That comes
Yes.
out every month on time. Thank
Indeed.
you. And I have a new Kickstarter called Deep Sea, which is starts in like a week when I get home.
Oh,
and figure it out.
fantastic.
And then we have the Punisher book starting
course.
in October.
Right.
And that's 4 issues.
Pop Wars is done from, I know, a finished project, but didn't you move to like Mad Cave or something like that? The Soda Pop War.
Oh yeah, so Pop Kill came out.
Pop Kill.
4 came out, and we're talking about doing more.
Okay.
And then there's a whole bunch of stuff. And then we have I have a Daredevil series set in the past during Marvel Nights,
Beautiful.
where Daredevil and Punisher first fought in the Welcome Back Frank book. It
Yep.
takes off from there, and it's pretty crazy.
Outstanding.
So that's what we
cool.
got going on. I know we got another panel going on.
Yeah, I was
so,
going to say, are we done? How much time?
10 more minutes.
Oh,
All
good.
right.
So people are coming in.
So I
That's
like
all
it.
right.
Okay, so
Hang out. Absolutely. You
There's
guys
children
come in.
now, so
Don't-
we have to clean it up.
Don't worry. You can
Yeah,
walk
go ahead.
in.
We're cleaning
That's
it
cool.
up now.
Please.
You mentioned Kickstarter. Do you feel for people that are already established that's kind of the future? Because I'm seeing more somewhat newer artists from like Europe going over to Image, but then breaking off very quickly into Kickstarter, and more people doing that as opposed to sticking with the big two.
Well, with the big two, you don't want to create anything original, right? Because they own it. So even if they give a creator a little percentage or something, it really financially is not great, Otherwise, Amanda and I would be driving around in expensive cars and whatever, right? Harley, we would have made a lot of money off of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you see people go into Image to do their creator-owned stuff, but Image is like it's potluck, right? Like sometimes your book will sell, sometimes it won't. But if you have a lot of relatives, Kickstarters are great, right? You can guilt them all into buying your Kickstarter. But if you have I have an audience already, right? So I know that a certain amount of people buy it. Also, out of reputation, I always deliver, so there's a safety net for my Kickstarters. But you'll find people who want to just do their own thing. And it's not so easy in this business because you guys, the public, don't always support it that much. And you can't blame you because you love the characters you love, and you only have enough money. Comics are not cheap anymore. They're around the same price as a slice of pizza.
Sure.
Sorry.
In San Diego.
Sorry, in San Diego. No, they're cheaper.
No, I know.
When I was a kid, pizza was $0.25, and
Sure.
comics were 20 cents. It
I'm
made
hip.
sense.
Yeah.
Now comics like $5. How much is a slice now? Like
$5 or
around
$7.
$5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they've
comparable.
always been like the same, although,
Jim Shooter had that thing where it was either ice cream bar or a candy bar was about the same price as a comic. Yeah.
Sure.
I think we
Yeah.
passed that, right? Because
Oh
I
my
think
God, yes.
candy's kind of still cheaper than a.
Yeah.
Then it must have been an ice cream bar.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But you can't swat a fly with an ice cream bar, but a comic you can beat one to death. But anyway, so
I think you can.
What's that?
You can swat a
I
fly
mean,
with
once,
it.
but you don't want to eat it afterwards.
Oh, well,
right? Yeah, okay.
Hasn't Kickstarter though, because of all of you doing so many books, they've almost created their own community of people that support graphic novels and the like.
It's tough now because the companies are doing Kickstarters, so we're getting hurt by them.
Yeah.
So we have the companies, we call that double dipping. So
absolutely.
They'll do a Kickstarter to get you guys to pay more money for the book, and then sometimes before your book gets to you, they put it out in the stores, and then you're like, well, why didn't I just buy it when it came out?
Right.
So you have to be careful with some of the corporate Kickstarters because they see it as a way of double dipping money out of people's pockets, and I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that, okay? And I'm also not a fan of a company's doing a Kickstarter because that's why they're publishers. That's why they have these big companies. They should put it out. And it hurts, I think it hurts over, people used to say, well, it brings more people to Kickstarter. I said, no, it doesn't. It brings in more people to spend on that stuff. They don't even look at the other stuff.
Really?
And yeah, I'm. This is now years later, and I'm seeing no difference.
Have you stuck with Kickstarter? Do you go to GoFundMe or?
No,
I, don't
I
even
stick
know,
with Kickstarter because my audience.
Zoop. You know.
Zoop. So.
By the way,
I
I'm
will
not
always-
a Zoop guy, but keep going.
Well, you don't look like a Zoop.
Well,
I don't know what that means.
I'll tell you after hours sometime about
That's
Zoop.
it's a weird word.
It is a weird word.
But Kickstarter for me is where my audience is. I've worked them.
Yeah.
There are other crowdfunding sites. They each do something different. But for me, anybody who's backed any of my Kickstarters in the past, I can email them with one. And that's very important to me because I want to make sure my guys all know. Thing. But I will say, if you really want to follow what Amanda and I do, we have a website called PaperFilms.com. And we don't bug you. We get you like once a month. We'll say what cons we're doing. We'll show some Amanda's new art. We send that directly to your email. That's our best way of dealing with our public is to have the website, more than anything. And we try not to bother people too much with it. But that's it. And we got a question.
But again, you got it down to a science in terms of the product that you guys put out.
Well, we got to hustle.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're always hustling.
But good. And again, you're doing the kind of comics you want to write.
We
and
love
you want to draw.
comics.
Yeah.
And
We love comics, and we love the people that love comics.
Yeah.
This might be the last question. Go ahead, sir.
Well, just continuing what you're talking about. So you're using your website as kind of like the focal point for people to come in, contact you, email, and
try.
you keep them in the can.
Yeah.
Are you doing any other stuff? Discord, Patreon? Is Patreon in your radar bit? Is that
No,
common?
I'm on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it this week. I interact as much as I can there and Instagram, but Substack and all that kind of stuff. When they started, they offered a lot of money to creators.
Did Nick come to you? Nick Spencer was the kind of the linchpin for a lot of Substack. Did he come to you?
And they offered us money to be on it, right? And so some people stayed on it, some people, but I noticed that they kind of fade away with some people and some people drop out. I don't like the inconsistency, and I'm not asking people to give me money to push my books. So when I've talked to people, PaperFilms is free, the site's free. I think it's weird for me to go out and advertise or talk about my stuff and ask people for money for it. And Patreon, I get it. Some creators need that to pay their bills, but we're trying to work. Yeah, you have a Patreon.
I do
ask
have
your
a
fans.
Patreon.
Right.
I do.
So you don't have, you're not.
But I don't do Kickstarters.
Right, you don't do
know.
that. So there are little different models. And I think some people, if I did a Patreon, I'd feel so that I'd have to give them so much all the time. It'd be exhausting for me.
You find that it's more of an either or. You're either doing Kickstarters or you're doing the Patreon.
I find it's either or for us to do work and then try to get the promotion to work at the same time. I used to have a lot more faith in companies promoting our books, but as a retailer who's next to you, you know how hard it is. Like so many books come out a month. I think like 600, maybe 600 comics come out a month.
How long is our new comic wall?
Yeah, the new comic wall goes from here to a good pizzeria around here. It's pretty big. So anyway, yeah. So I'm kidding, guys. But so promotion is tough. So it's really on creators to do most of it.
You got to do it yourself. And that really image, is there a difference in terms of doing an image book? And because again, you're on your own.
So
with
image
images as
doesn't
well.
really promote that much.
Right.
They list it in catalogs and online, but the creators have to go out and make noise for their books. And unless they have good social media skills or they have any social media thing, it's really hard, you know? And you guys get bombarded by things every day to buy. There's guys doing special covers. Oh my God, there's exclusive covers, 45 covers on a book now, and you guys are like just buying books for covers, which is kind of a weird thing too. But there's so much going on, it gets harder and harder for creators to get their stuff out there. So I always say, I kind of have to hyper focus on what's working for you rather than trying to cover everything.
Okay.
I respect it.
Awesome.
We got to wrap up.
Okay.
Thank you
but
so
I
much.
also, first of all, I just want to give you this.
Oh, what's
because
this?
I do an e-magazine for my
Oh.
Patreon, and everyone who does a subscription.
Oh, it's a Remembering Jim Shooter.
But yeah,
Look at
I had a wonderful conversation with him here at Terrificon like 2 years ago. I've transcribed it. Eventually,
Excellent.
the Word Balloon book will happen.
that.
And
I've
maybe
never
at
seen
that-
Jim like this.
Exactly.
Oh my God. That's it.
But if anyone wants it, I am selling it. It's $5. I've got change, so I can make bank, but I don't have a square, so I can't take debit cards. You'll forgive the.
You'll take food, though. You'll take
I will absolutely take food. But guys, seriously, this is exactly what I was hoping for as far as the conversation.
All right.
Thank you so much.
We all learned nothing
it's great
today. It's
seeing you guys.
fantastic.
And I will be once things are public. I will be bugging you, and once things are probably through Jim. And
Okay.
so please come back on the
Plug
show.
away.
All right, great.
Thank
Great
you.
seeing you guys.
Thank you guys.
Excelsior!